Hey, what's up everybody? Ed the Pond Professor here, coming to you from my office, St. Charles, Illinois, water garden capital of the world, at our home, Aqualand. I am getting ready to head back down to Kamp Kenan. Kenan, we've become great friends over the years. We started doing projects for him, I think 4 years ago now. This is going to be our 5th pond that we are doing at his facility, and it is just unbelievable how blessed I feel that we can continue to build these relationships and create great contact collaboratively, working with these incredible people that are out there that have these very passionate followings. So I want to say thank you to all the supporters out there that continue to follow us and support all the content that we're creating, and please let us know if there's anything that we can do that we could make it better. That's what we're here for. We want to get information out about biomimicry, about connecting with nature, just because it is an unbelievable experience. So what I want to do right now is I want to kind of break down a little bit of what we're going to be doing. So unfortunately, and again, I say this kind of with a heavy heart because of the passing of his good friend Fred. I met Fred a couple times, but incredible guy, an incredible legacy, and he has gifted Kenan with some of his animals. Kenan and I talked about doing a caiman alligator project a couple years ago. He knew it was going to be coming sometime in the future, didn't know exactly what was going to be happening, but because of Fred's passing, we have to move forward a little bit more quickly. So he contacted Greg, he contacted myself, and said we need to do something. We have to create a habitat for these very unique animals, and we need to do it fast. So this is what we're going to be starting with. I was walking around just getting some measurements and things like that, but what we talked about doing was building this caiman pond system right over in here. Problem is, so this building right here, old shed, he has it loaded up with all types of materials. So you can see he's got fencing down here. He's got all types of wood and stuff inside of it. So he's going to start moving some of these things around. He's going to take that shed down, and this is going to open up a lot of space. This is the best spot for us to work. So what we want to do is kind of come up with a unique design that's going to fit, and it's going to be modular, so he could adapt it according to different scenarios. You can see I've kind of delineated a little bit of a fence here. Not 100% sure exactly what that's going to look like because he's a little bit flexible. The only thing that he has to know for sure is from this edge of the fence to his property line has to be 35 feet minimum. This is according to Fish and Wildlife regulations for keeping this particular species. So we're going to make sure that that's the case. So he's got an existing fence over here. We're going to offset everything from there. But once we have that, we kind of went out when I was on site. We got a few measurements, and we were thinking that this section here is about 30 feet wide. And then lengthwise, we are talking about going all the way down to here, which would be 60 feet. But we have a little bit of flexibility, obviously, because the fence in the back part of the property goes way, way back. So we're not encroaching on anything from that perspective. Talking with Kenan, I came up with this little design, and he gave me an incredible insight onto the habits and habitat of these incredible animals. So the dwarf caimans, they're found in tropical forests. It's a jungle dweller. So it's not going to be big alligators and stuff in these huge open swamps and plains and things like that. So this is going to be more of a jungle animal. They're very adaptable. They're very good at climbing up and over boulders and logs and kind of searching. They're nocturnal hunters, so they can go out in and around the surrounding forested area and they can hunt for food. So what Kenan wants to do is he wants to create not a massive water feature, because these guys and girls spend a lot of time outside of the water. So we want to have a big percentage, probably 60+% should be land, and about 30-40% is going to be aquatic. So then they can go into water. So the idea is to create a series of these little cascading pools. I want to start up here on the very, very top. This is going to be our wetland filter up here on the top. We're going to use our snorkel and centipede. You've seen us use this stuff 1,000 times on different projects. Very adaptable filtering system, very, very effective. We'll be able to pass a lot of water into the bottom and then flow it up through the gravel media. The reason I went with the wetland filter on this particular project is because of the potential waste product from these particular animals. Now, when we start looking at biological filtration, we're looking at nitrifying bacteria. These bacteria and microorganisms and enzymes and things like that are going to break down nitrogenous compounds. Again, it's a lot of sciencey type stuff here, but these compounds get into the water because of the excrement from the animals. When we start talking about fish and things like that, the amount of nitrogen or the amount of protein in fish food is going to be 30 to 40%. Now, when we start talking alligator diets, the amount of protein in their feed feed could be 80, 90% or higher. Very protein-rich diet, because that's normally what they would eat. That means the amount of waste, pound for pound, is going to be double, if not triple, the amount of nitrogen waste going into the feature. So the reason I'm talking about this is we need a heck of a filter to manage this stuff. So as the material decomposes, the nitrogen gets released into the water, and if we don't break it down and detoxify it, it's going to create a toxic environment for all the other inhabitants in there. So we want to make sure that we deliver high quality water, which is exactly why I'm doing this wetland filtration system. Once we have that main filter set up, then we're just going to have a series of these little pools. It's very simple, and then we're going to have some connecting little streams to connect everything together, and then eventually make it over down to here, which is where our pump is going to be located. Once the water gets to the pump, we have a pre-filter in place. This is going to be an intake bay, so we're going to be using some of those aqua blocks. That's going to act as a pre-filter to remove large solids from the animal waste, as well as leaf debris, anything else that falls inside of the pond. We want to pull that out. Those organic compounds, they decompose, are also going to release more nitrogen into the system. So by managing that, by pulling out some of those solids before they have a chance to decompose, it's going to lessen the stress on the wetland filter. So you have to remember, when I'm designing stuff, it's a system. I'm not just putting pieces and parts together. It is a fully functioning ecosystem. And if I make one change in one place, there's going to be a ripple effect throughout the entire ecosystem. So I want to make sure I'm matching the right pump with the right aqua blocks, with the right flow rate, with the right size diameter piping, with the right size wetland filter to produce dissolved oxygen that's going to help to feed the bacterial colonies inside the system. So all these pieces and parts work synergistically together to deliver the desired water quality. And I think that's the really important message here. Now, the other thing that we're doing here that's kind of unique, you can see I delineated that fence. Again, that fence might move a little bit, Kenan's always changing stuff around. But what I want to highlight is over here, this back end, I have the pumps and the mechanicals outside of the enclosure. So this way, Kenan could just access it. He can clean stuff. He could maintain things without actually going in and messing with the animals and watching behind his back for these caiman alligators. So that's going to help him alleviate some of those maintenance issues. The other thing that we have to think about is he's going to be putting partitions across. So he's got anywhere from 4 to 6 different animals that are going to be coming into here. So he wants this big section down below for the 2 biggest, and then these ones are kind of split up into 2 smaller enclosures. This one will have the wetland filter as part of their habitat. The other one in the middle, again, just a shallow pooling area. I did add in a little bit of a beach over here. You can see I wrote that little beach out. These caimans, just like a lot of other alligators, they need to have access in and out of the water. Now, because of the species, Kenan said they'll have no problem climbing over the boulders, but I'm always thinking of just easier ways for animals to get in and out. Because these are powerful animals, we're going to cover our rubber membrane with what we call concrete cloth. So the concrete cloth is going to be used in these deeper zones. So it's not going to be behind all the big boulders, because the big boulders, the alligators are not going to move. They're going to move around the river rock that's on the bottom. So what I want to do is I'm going to put down some of this concrete cloth to make an impermeable barrier. So remember, our rubber membrane is going to cover every square inch. That creates a waterproof system. On top of that, I'm going to put that concrete cloth to create a rock hard protective barrier for the animals in case they start moving stuff around and they try to burrow or anything like that. I want to be able to resist the action of their claws. On top of that, I'm going to put a heavy duty fabric. On top of that, we're going to put in flat pieces of stone. We're going to have river rock and all different other coverings in and around. Kenan has a lot of rock on site, which he's always had from previous projects and things like that. So I'm hoping he has a chance to look for some big logs, because I would love to drop in some logs in here, just because I know it will take it to that next level, especially since this species is a jungle dwelling animal. Whenever we replicate the habitat, we know we're going to have a happy, healthy animal, and that's what it's all about. One final piece, he has this beautiful mango tree. We talked about taking it down at one point, but we could work around it. That's the beauty of working with the rubber membrane. We could twist and turn everything around it. It's going to add that much more from an aesthetic standpoint, but also from a functional standpoint. Like we said, this animal is a jungle species, so having a nice big canopy existing over that space is going to help them feel more at home. Once we're done, Kenan's then going to come in, bring in all the different plant material. He always does a phenomenal phenomenal job of planting things up, and then he has to build the enclosure itself. There's a lot of things happening with this project. I will definitely give you more and more information once we're on site, because that's really when we're going to start to fine-tune this design. I hope you found this enjoyable. Please let me know how we can give you more information that could help you on your journey learning about water. I look forward to seeing you down in Florida at Kamp Kenan. See you soon.
Hi.
Kenan!
What's up, buddy?
We're at your buddy's place.
Yeah, we're at Mark and Annette McCarthys Wildlife Sanctuary. It's a beautiful facility, and they're an inspiration for me because much like how my home has become my sanctuary, they did it, but they went big. They got big cats, they've got lemurs, they've got sloths, they've got a lot of animals, and they do really great work for the community of South Florida, and even nationwide. They'll sometimes help animals that are in real need. They have a beautiful Nile crocodile, and I want you to take a look at the enclosure and see how we can aquascape it to make it better for this animal.
I'm always ready for that.
All right,
let's go check it out.